Hello.
Hi there.
Hi. Hello.
My space.
This is the first time I've ever done this. Is there anything special I need?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is the first time I've ever done Tai Chi. Is there anything special that I'll need?
No, this is a very friendly class for you and folks in your position for sure.
Okay.
We'll just need your chair and then hopefully comfortable shoes.
Yep.
And anything you need in terms of balance assistance.
Okay with that.
Yeah, great. And some space. You do need space.
Got that.
Room to flap your crane wings.
Okay. I'll do that. I'll get a chair.
And sweep your bear paws.
Get a chair.
Yeah. Okay.
And of course, you need your dog.
You must have your trusty steed
Here she is.
nearby.
She thinks this is for her.
It might be on some level. Michelle, how are you?
I'm okay, thank you.
Good to see you.
How about you?
Pretty good. Bruce, your screen is turned off and you're muted. So I don't know if that's how you want it today, which is fine. But bottom left on your computer screen would be your mute and your screen there. And we still got about 4 or 5 minutes before we officially go. So you can start in on your breathing, meditation. Leslie, you said you've never done any Tai Chi before?
Never.
What do you know about it? What have you heard?
I haven't heard. Well, as what I know about it, I see people. Always seen people in the park doing it. Very slow movements.
Yeah.
What have I heard about it? Well, recently, what spurred me to start into this is because besides having PD, recently I'm having trouble with osteoarthritis in my knee. And that's one of the few non-medical treatments that are mentioned that actually have been proven to work. Tai Chi is one of them.
Yeah, it can be a problem for the knees to practice Tai Chi if you don't understand a couple of things about, like, Tai Chi and Qigong can be fantastic for the joints, except oftentimes they're not, because people do them in a way that makes it worse, right? Like, for instance, when you see somebody practicing Tai Chi or Qigong, they often have a little sort of bend in the knees, like you see that, as opposed to, let's say, locked out.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you know how to just like open your legs up, they can bend and be sunk in, and the knees absolutely love this, right? But what you see here and what people end up doing, people push down in through their knees, and oftentimes teachers say the same thing. Teachers are saying, bend your knees, because you do bend your knees, but it's a particular type. It's like opening the joints up so that the liquid nature of your body sinks. It's like having a straight arm. This is Tai Chi straight. You see there's some bend in it, but it's like through. The word through is important, right? A throughness, as opposed to straight, where now I'm straining this joint, or bent, I'm still straining that joint, but it's but it's just in a bent position versus the quality of the arm is such that there's a little openness and therefore a small bend, right? So that's sort of complex, right? But in actual practice, it eventually becomes very simple because it's the most natural way to use this body. It's like, oh, get out of the way and everything moves a lot smoother. But as someone who's practiced it for a long time, I can be showing it, but then what a lot of times people see is they go, oh, there's a bend there. Okay, bend my arm. So that's an important principle to think about. Is I'm often saying whatever you're doing is usually too much. It's more than it should be. Like when you see me sink down, I say, you know, sink down a little bit. You're probably going to initially do it too much. You're going to try to bend to try to create the thing instead of a qualitative, just sort of allowing of the body to sink, right? Or sitting upright, you know, hold, you know, this, I'm mimicking, you know, I'm exaggerating it, but a lot of times we're doing stuff like this as opposed to just down, sunk with some uprightness. So it's like less than whatever you're going to try and do during our class today. Just consider the idea of just, you don't have to do quite as much, right? So if we raise the hand, raise it slow. If you see me do some movement like that, and then we come across, it's like, take your time, be leisurely about what we're doing, and then you'll be closer to the spirit of what it's supposed to be. So if you see a sink less than you might think you're supposed to. You see me shift over this way, shift less. Don't go way over here, right? Does that make sense?
Thank you. Yes.
Great. And that's valuable for all of us to think about as we practice, is just doing less allows us to be more relaxed, which then allows more range of motion over time to happen and more naturalness through our movement. So any other thoughts or questions from anybody? All righty. Find your seated position and sit at the front edge. And I'm going to mute everybody here. And so we always start with a moment of stillness. And again, putting into practice that idea of upright, but not held, not gripped. So do the appropriate effort just to get yourself arranged, and then practice how much can you let go? How much can you release? And an interesting point is that we often think of the word relaxation as a downward trajectory. We go, oh, relax, schlump. But relaxation is actually a middle out phenomenon. So when you relax, you actually just get broader, more dilated, a little, you could say plumper, a little more spacious in between the joints, spacious in between the layers of tissue, spacious between they have a term interstitial, which means in between the cells, the individual cells. At that very, very minute level, there's this awareness of space. You could almost say at the quantum level even, we want to recognize that we are not as solid and dense as we experience ourselves to be. So when we're meditating, those are the sort of directions we want to point our mind is, am I tense or dense in any particular place that I could relax? And what's the experience when I relax that way, right? So as I'm yapping away here and there, just gently close the eyes, bow the head, turn your attention towards some of those ideas of alignment and then relaxation. Spaciousness. space between your material, but also space between your subtler aspects. And just notice that you are breathing. So some breathing or some meditation techniques are about very controlled breath, active breath. Others are, don't do a single thing with your breath. Just observe it and let your body breathe naturally. Last minute or so here, very short meditation. Noticing also the mind space or the mind level, that level where thoughts occur. And often we are thinking about some other person, some other place, some other time. Or we're having running commentary about the present moment. Sort of this filter, trying to explain it or have an opinion about it, perhaps. But that level, over time, we want that to be dissolved and clear. So there's not incessant activity at that mind layer. Just final 30, 40 seconds, see if you can taste a little bit of quiet in that inner space. Keeping this awareness of all these layers, right? From your material to your subtle. Gently open the eyes if they're closed. First exercise, very gently, just moving the torso and spine. Slide your hands forward, softly past your kneecaps. Drop the head a little bit and just round the back. Reverse that, slide the hands back. Elbows back, shoulder blades back, lift the head, look up. Slide the hands forward, softly rounding. Slide the hands back, arching. One more. And settle to the middle. Slide left hand forward past the knee, right hand back. Turn the shoulders, head and neck to look right. And then reverse. Just very gentle waking up. We're sort of inducing the various movements that the body is built to make. After you've done 3 of those twists to each side, then come back to middle. Arms hang. Now this one we want to practice sort of like fall training, like you're falling, right? As if you like fell asleep and you're falling off your chair, but control it. And then come back up. And then like you're falling. And we're giving the spinal column a lateral flexion, lateral extension. Lateral means sideways. All 24 vertebrae. It's also a little bit in the shoulders and arms, head and neck. So this liquid, this fluid, this ease with which we can move here, kind of like you're falling into the movement. It comes to an end, and then you come back to middle, and we go right to our shoulder blades. So shoulder blades up and melt them down. All the way up, melt down. Couple more. Shoulder blades lift, right? So these blades that are on the back, and then they slide down, up, and down. Now, bring your legs closer together so they can even be touching, and protract your shoulder blades. Notice how they go away from the spine, come back to neutral, crack a walnut, shoulder blades back towards the spine. And then to neutral, where they're just relaxed. Protract, neutral, retract. So again, consider what it is you think I'm doing with the movement. Notice that when I do this, a lot of things change. Chest sinks back, shoulder blades spread away from the spine, and I open up that space between spine and shoulder blades, and then back, and then retract, and neutral. Now, putting those together, protract, lift the shoulder blades up, retract them like you're cracking a walnut behind you, and then slide them down your back. Let's do that 3 more times. Protract, elevate, retract, depress. Protract, elevate, retract, depress. One more. Down. Now, retract, crack a walnut, lift, roll them over top, and let them slide down. Back, up, over, down. So remember, Bruce, we talked about that on Wednesday, shoulder blades. Crack a walnut, make sure it's the shoulder blades moving. Lift them up. The shoulder blades got to come up. And then over the top and down. Last one. And down. Okay, now step your feet back to about legs length distance. Take your left hand, place it on your right knee, lean over. Dangle the arm, and then start swinging the arm a little bit forward, a little bit back. So if I turn sideways, you can see I'm going forward, back. And I'm not lifting my arm up. I'm not bringing it up in space. I'm just letting it swing like a pendulum. Swing. Now, the next time you're forward, go out. Go around back, come in. Let it swing forward, around, back and in. Swing, around. Swing, around. So feel this space. Notice that the hand, it's maybe lifting a little bit, but not really. It's actually staying on the same plane as if it's on the surface of water, and we're getting this room, this space through the joint. Let's go the other way. Back, around, back, around, back, around. Keep going. Back, around. The body enjoys moving in circles. That's what it's built to do. Let's switch sides. Right hand on left thigh, hang, swing forward and back. So this is not a shoulder blade movement now. The previous one was. This is arm bone in the shoulder socket making its movements. And again, remember, I'm not lifting my hand up for this one. I'm keeping it at the same level. It's important that we get that feeling that the arm does not have to lift in order to go out. Space, space, space. Switch directions. Go back, around and forward. Back, around and forward. Back, around and forward. Back, around and forward. Back, and finish. Sitting up. Fold right elbow. Come up and softly touch shoulder. And down. Left arm. So this is just that easy fold. Not a difficult gesture, but sometimes we put more into this bend of the elbow than needs to be there. So just feel that command for your brain. Just simple. Then do it with both. And when they go down, let them just swing back and then up. Swing. Up. Swing. Up. So loose. This looseness that we want to have with our relationship to our body, where it's often a clinging, grabbing, holding that's happening. Now, keep your hands up. Chicken wing out to the side and up. Down. Around in front, touch the inner forearms together. Down. Elbows out and up. And down. So now we're leading through the elbows. So this next little series, hands stay relaxed, and you really are thinking from here. You're moving from those elbows. Right? Elbows back, down, forward, possibly up, forward, down, back, down. So the hands are just loose, they're just along for the ride, and we're moving from our elbows, which really helps to pull the junk out from the middle of the body. And rest your left arm down. So now, elbow comes across. The hand is over here, but it's, again, we're thinking from the elbow. The elbow lifts. Elbow goes to the side. Elbow drops. Cross, up, out, down. Cross, up, out, down. Cross. One more. Now this one's a little weirder. Back, like we did. Elbow out. Over the top, point it forward, elbow down. Elbow back, out, up, over, down. Back, out, up, over, down. Notice where my hand is when I come over. Stays in here. Tuck your hand into your armpit. Touch your armpit with your hand. And then the elbow goes over. Good. Back. Out, up. Keep the hand there. Lead through that elbow tip. Good. Other side. Cross, up, out, down. So just lead through the elbow. The hand is just along for the ride. Right, as we reach, we're really opening up shoulder, back, and we're going here. We're opening up here in the chest and lung space. And we're also getting a spiral gesture, a rotation through all the conjoining pieces. Now we go back, out, up, over. Keep that hand tucked in and roll down. Back, out, up, over, down, back, out, up, over, down, back. Last one. And both. Here we cross. One's on top, one's underneath. And lift both. And then out. And then cross, up, out, down to your sides, cross, up, out, down, cross, up, out. down. Now, back, out, up, over. The hands stay tucked in near the armpits, and the elbows roll down. Elbows back, elbows out, elbows up, over, down, back, out, up, over, and down. I'm gonna mute you there. Is it Marjan or Marhan?
Marjan, I'm
Marjan.
just,
You just muted yourself. Hold on, let me.
yes, if you don't mind, I like to see the class once and then I'll decide whether I want to join.
Uh-huh.
Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. Okay, back to it. Elbows back, out, up, over, forward, and down. All right, hands out in front. Just turn palms down, palms up. Again, we're going through and just networking so that we're clear on what's what. What you see me doing, some people will try to execute it like this. Oh, I see the hand is being turned down, so I'm doing this, but be very clear. The arm bone here doesn't move, just forearm rotation. So that you want to make sure each of these parts is under your conscious command. Palms turn up, fold, circle through. Point forward, turn the palms up, fold, circle through. Fold and circle through. Circle, 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 circle. Other way. Fold, up and over. Turn the palms down. Fold, up and over. Circles, circles, circle. And finished. Now we close little modules with something called shogun, which is just a closing gesture. Arms float up, turn palms up, bend at the elbows. It's like a gathering and a settling down to this important place, the belly button, and deep into the belly button. This is an important spot within Chinese medicine and Qigong and Tai Chi thought, or the paradigm of how they view the body. Western science is catching up, saying, oh yes, the gut is very important, the second brain down here. So this idea is that this is a factory and also a nest for the chi, right? The life force. And arms come down. Now, scoot back a little bit in your chair so you feel very stable there. Bring your hands up into soft Tai Chi fists, which is Tai Chi fist is not gripped to the point where the joints are sort of compressing, but it's just softly created with room in there. And then it retains its mobility rather than compressing and it gets sort of stuck in there. So make a soft little Tai Chi fist. Now shift to your right butt cheek and shift to your left butt cheek. And just notice you can do that and still retain a feeling of centeredness. So that means we're not falling this way and falling this way, but we're shifting our weight over here and shifting our weight over here. Now, as you shift your weight over to this side, lift and bring that knee up and bring the heel somewhat back and in. So that's called chambering. Set that foot down, shift, go to the other side, lift and draw the heel sort of up and in. Set it down, shift, lift and draw the heel in. Set it down. Shift the buttock. Bring the leg up. Set it down. Shift. Now, as you lift the leg, push, return. Push, return. 3 more. Push through the heel, return to chamber. Push, return. Last one. And set it down. Other leg. Push, return. Push, return. One of the main functions of the leg is this gesture, this squatting gesture, this kicking gesture, this pushing gesture, right? And out. Switch again, but on this one, push it out 1 time, hold, point foot, flex foot. Then invert, evert, invert, evert, in, out. Then circles, in and around, circles. Other way, out and around. And down. Other leg, lift, push. Now point and flex. Invert, evert. Circles. Other direction, circles. And scoot once again all the way forward to the front edge of your chair. Lift the ball of your left foot, turn on the heel, turn this leg from the hip externally, knee and toes point out. Lift the toe, bring the foot back to neutral. Lift the toe, turn the leg in, this little sort of pigeon-toed position, internal rotation. Neutral, external rotation. Neutral, internal rotation. Neutral. So the whole time the heel is our pivot point. Now skip neutral and just go internal, external. The other thing is the pelvis isn't moving much at all, but the leg is moving a lot. So we want to be clear on that. The leg is that moving part. And back to neutral, switching legs. Lift the toe, external, neutral, internal, neutral, external, neutral, internal, neutral. Out. Now skip neutral. In, out, in. Move, make sure it's from the hip. Pelvis is sitting stable. The leg bone is rotating and rotating. One more. And back to neutral. Both legs. Lift the toes. External, neutral, internal, neutral, open, middle, close, middle. Skipping neutral now, open, close, open, close, two more. These are like doing your ABCs when you're learning an alphabet, and then you can start putting together words and sentences and all kinds of stuff. Let's come back to neutral. But if you don't have brain command of these basic commands of bending, lifting, turning out, turning in, all that is just key. It's kind of boring perhaps, but without it, anything you layer on top, it just becomes confusing. So this is a foundation for success, right? But it does take time, of course. Now, this leg, combination of both of those two previous exercises, we lift it, take it out, set it down. Then reverse that. Up, in, down, out. This is also a great moment to feel the infrastructure scaffolding of squares that can become a circle. First, it's like a square, up, in, down, right? It's very linear. It's got corners to it to make sure you're hitting all those dots. Eventually, though, you want it to be smooth. A circle, a circle, a circle. Let's do the other side. Square, up, out, down. Up, in, down. Make it a circle. 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 up, over, and out, and down in a nice half circle. Circle. One more. And down. Legs back to hip distance or a little wider. Now, legs don't move. Spine doesn't move independent. The pelvis tips, hip hinge. So folding and noticing you're taking your straight spine with you in this fold, as opposed to what I often see is people, what they think they see is this, but notice that I'm rounding my spinal joints as opposed to not rounding them and hinging right at the hip crease, and feel that squeeze to the groin area, that compression at the hip crease. We want that sort of, it can feel pinchy at times, but it's also a great massage to the space. And then up. Now add to that tipping back a little bit from the hips, level or neutral or 90 degrees, and then hinge, deeply crease. And then neutral or level, vertical, tip back. Vertical, tip. Now with the legs in this position, we only have so much range. Now take your legs out. Now we got some room here. Hands on your legs for support. Begin folding forward and then do this with your arms here. Watch what I do. I just swivel so that my fingers are on the inseam and my elbows are way out to the side. So this is an internally rotated arm position. And fold and see how far you can take your hips hinging and get your torso there and your head even, and then sit upright. As you sit upright, bring your arms back to neutral and then lean back a little bit. Back, 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 back. And then sit vertical. Turn the hands as you fold forward. This is the dragon position in the arms, like a big dragon. Fold. And sitting up, arms back to neutral, leaning back. Let's do one more. The dragon bows. Turn, bow. Now the dragon stirs the sea with its tail. So you're leaning back, tip over to that right butt cheek, turn your chest and shoulders a little bit that way, and bow towards the right knee. And as you do, get your arms into the dragon position. So arms into that position that I just showed you. And then sweep the torso and head through to the other side. And then come back along that left side and around the back. And then bow forward to the right knee. Arms drop into that, or settle into that position. Sweep through, the dragon stirs the sea. So you make a full, complete circle. And if there's any issue in terms of pain that isn't good pain, don't make it quite as big, right? You can just kind of stay within this comfort range. Stay within a range that your back and your hips and your shoulders enjoy. Let's go the other way. Around. Stir the sea. Nice big circle. And around. And stir the sea. Stir the sea. And neutral. Back to the middle. All right. Shogun. So that closes that little module, right? We did sort of an upper body module, and then we did a lower body, legs, hips, some torso movement, right? Now we're going to do standing up and sitting down. Back your feet up so that your knees are less than a 90 degrees, so a more acute angle. Remember the hinge at the hips. So the key to standing up easily is that your first gesture is forward through the head, then push down and the head launches up. To sit down, the first gesture is from the hip hinge, like what we did a moment ago when we were sitting. Hinge at the hips, then when your butt's back there, then sit it, and your knees are much happier that way then when you bend them first. Let's do this a few times. So this is the square version of hinge, gesture forward, push straight down, and you come up. So, kind of a 1, 2, 3. We go fold, sink the butt, land it, staying folded, right? See how folded I am with my butt on the chair, and then sitting upright. Let's do one more square version. Fold, forward, vertical. Fold, sink, staying folded, vertical. Now to make it a circle, you just sort of polish the corners where it's just a forward and up. And this is another example of what Tai Chi, you might say the trajectory that Tai Chi practice is supposed to go on, is that we go from initially sort of square, connect the dots movements, to then ease and round and polish, and sort of effortless. All right, now we're standing. Do a few squats. So let's do the square squats. Fold, sink. In this one, you sort of keep your back very sturdy, right? You're sort of active as if you're holding weights in your hands and you're trying to stabilize it, right? And then push down. So that's very square. It's very angular. Butt goes back. You sink that butt. Then you rise back up. Hips come forward so they're underneath you. One more, square. And up. Now the Tai Chi squat, the subtle difference is the butt sneaks back, but feel how there's this space, this almost like a cylinder of space right here that we were inhabiting a moment ago. But as you get out of the way, now there's that space, and we just kind of sink through that space. And you allow the tail to sort of be rounded and the back to be open. And then rise. So basically you find the minimum amount of the tail going back, and then as it sinks and you keep your crown long, you're opening this back of the body, and you're also easing your way down. You're just kind of right down and through and back up. So that's the Tai Chi squat, right? Now, tip yourself a little bit forward into your toes in a way that like you're sort of right at the edge a little bit, but you don't fall. And then you come back to the middle. Let's do just the toes again. Forwardish. And back. And notice something. Often when I do this and this next exercise, people do this to get forward, as opposed to notice I'm not hinging at my hips here. I'm just leaning this body just a couple degrees forward, nothing too major. And yet there's a major change in the arrangement of the body. One more, tip. So we're going forward, then we're coming to middle. Now go heels. This one is a little weirder because we don't have more foot behind our heel. We have more foot in front, but we don't have more behind. So when we go back, the upper body slightly stays where it is. The head and shoulders kind of stay where they are. The arms even come out a little bit. So let's just take the arms out in front a bit as you go back into your heels, and then come back to middle. Go back to your heels and middle. And this is a really important one for folks aging, of any people who are aging at all, which is all of us. But especially with that Parkinson's, we really need to feel like we can inhabit and explore the backside of this body, so we don't get frozen in the middle, right? We got to be able to go back and middle. Now let's try to go front, middle, back. So tip forward, tip middle to back, middle forward, middle back, middle forward, and middle back. Now, middle from here, forward. Now that you're a little forward, go off to the right foot a little bit more. Middle, staying in the front of the foot, more to the left. So this foot even becomes a little empty someday. Middle, right. This foot a little emptier. You don't have to pick it up like I just did, but just that idea, and see if you can be aware of the fact that you can be relaxed. In fact, you have to be relaxed to execute this from your middle, from this middle. Now, stay on the right. Go back along the outside of that foot to your heel a little bit on this side, and then forward to the toes. Back to the heels. Be careful with that back to your heel, but just get this feeling that you're sort of polishing this side of the circle. Polishing this side of the circle. Last one on this side. As you come forward to your toes, stay in your toes. Let's go around on the toes to the other side and then come back along the outside edge towards the heel, then to the toes, then to the heel and the toes. Relaxed shoulders, relaxed arms. And last one. Now that you're back in the heels, stay in the heels and safely, of course, go from heel to heel, from left heel to right heel to left heel. And you'll be somewhat arranged back. And so if your arms want to be out in space here a little bit to help you balance, to create some counterweight, let it happen. But just explore this. So we're getting foot, we're getting ankle, we're getting all the way up through the hips, the knees, all the way to the head. Eventually we play with doing this with the eyes closed, which really triggers the nervous system to expand its awareness of space. But let's get comfortable with this at first. Finally, let's do a few circles in each direction. Over to your right heel, come forward to the right toes, across the toes to the left toes, back to the left heel, across the heel, up the side, across the toes, back along outside, across the heels, switch directions, across the heel, along the left side, around the toes, back and across, forward and across, back. And find the middle of the middle of the middle, where you're just right there. All right, now, basic Tai Chi mechanics of the legs. Lock your knees back and notice that that makes you feel somewhat stable, but is not actually very good for the joints. Then unlock the knees, but don't bend them. Notice that you could bend your knees, so do it just a little bit and feel what that's like to sort of overdo it in the knee joint, and then back off of that, but don't lock your knees. So there's a middle between being locked, go ahead and lock it, unlock, find that middle that's sort of spongy and open. And then there's too far bent, and then there's back, right? So Leslie, we were talking about that earlier, right? The idea of it could be very healthy for your joints to practice Tai Chi, but if you practice it all with highly bent knees or highly locked knees, not good, right? That's gonna hurt them. So find that happy space right in the middle. Now, keeping that, let's tip a little bit to the toes and let the hands softly go forward. Tip to the heels, let the hands sweep back. Now, tip to the toes, the hands rise. The hands do a little change over to this position, and then they sink. So it's like you're painting a wall in front of you. Backs of hands, see these wrists, see the roundness, up. They change position, but we haven't sunk them yet, then sink them. So that's another Tai Chi principle. This move, there's a change, and then down. So managing that, executing that with your brain through the nervous system to the receptor sites in a slower, graceful way. That's where slow movement is highly challenging, yet also very, very safe. One more. Same quality, crane flapping wings. Hands scoop in front a little bit. Open. Feel that roundness, that looseness through all the joints. Then they slightly change position and sweep down and scoop in front. Wing out. Change. Sweep down. Wing out. Change. The crane flaps its wings. And down. Next movement. These are, again, all basic building blocks. Wings. Roll palms up. Fold at elbows. Hands come right into this little space and they fall. All the way to a zero, relaxed, and then they stay relaxed as they wing, roll, fold, sink. Embracing the moon. Wings. Now, right hand rolls, palm up. As it folds, left hand does a crane wing, and they return to this embrace moon. Open, out to the wings. So they reverse their trajectory. They're at the wings. Left hand roll palm up. As it folds at the elbow, right hand sweeps under. They come towards each other. And then they repel, continue along two far sides of a circle. And then left hand sweeps as right hand folds over. And reverse. And fold. And reverse, and fold, and reverse. Now, wings down. Bend right elbow, bring it up, turn the palm to face forward, push, turn, reverse, turn, push, turn, reverse, turn, push, and reverse. Drop the hand, bring the other hand up, push, reverse. Push, notice that the arm never locks. It gets straight, but it doesn't. And back. So these are all principles that we want to practice in our movement that are being displayed for you here in this little series. Right? And let that arm drop. Both hands come up. Turn the palms. Push. Turn the hands. Drop. Turn the hands. Push. Teaching. Drop. Push. And drop. Now, left hand only turn, push. Now both palms change. And then one pushes, one pulls. Both hands change. Push, pull. Both hands change. Push, pull. Simultaneous, right? So look at the palms. Last one to each side. And bring that hand back. Let the hands fall. All right. So now, take your left index finger, put it into your belly button. inside or just touch the belly button. And then just weight change, or just let yourself arrange so that the right leg is the one you're relying on to hold you up the most. And then consider those points I made about you don't want to lock the knee, but you don't want to bend the knee. You want it open so that it takes the body weight. And then we go over to that left leg and let that take your weight. And then we go to the right leg, let that take your weight. And then left, let that take your body weight. Eventually you want to get to where this one is so empty that you might even give it a little swivel just to check that. And then change. Now this one's so empty that you could swivel. Now as you shift to the right, stay there and turn from the belly button. So your belly button is a few degrees off to the right. Keep it that turned, shift to the left leg, and then turn the belly button to the left corner. So I'm in my left leg as I turn my belly button over here. Then I change the leg. So now I'm in my right leg, then I turn. Then I'm going left leg, turn. Right leg, turn. Left leg, turn. Drop the arms. Right leg, turn. Let the upper body be loose, light, and free. And the arms should start swinging a little bit, right? You see this happening with my arms. Because I'm not holding them in place, they go, whee, they swing over that way. And they go, whee, swing over this way. So that's sort of a non-descript movement. Then we put a little precision onto it to make it the bear washes paws in the stream. So now put left hand behind your back and just the right hand, turn so the palm is facing the right. Shift turns called brush knee. Turn the palm, sweep the leg. Turn the palm, brush knee. And notice we're still doing exactly the same thing with the leg and hips, but we're just bringing some awareness out through the fingertips and then putting some change to it. Sweep the leg, brush the knee. Now the bear swirls the stream. The hand goes out and around, but stays at water level. Comes in close, brush knee. Goes around at water level like we did at the beginning of class. Remember when I was pointing that out, we were doing those circles. Don't lift the hand right now. Be clear on that. Around, through. Notice what I'm doing there? I'm going around the outside of a circle, but I'm not going back the same way. Notice that I'm not doing that, Marjan. I'm coming in close to the body. So if I turn sideways, around the far side, through on the inside. I'm coming across the inside of the circle, close to your body, around the far side, across the inside with the palm. Look at my palm, turned. That's the brush knee. So we're getting all the pivots of the shoulders, the shoulder through the elbow, through the wrist. Now, the bear snatches the fish. Raise the arm up, turn the palm, shift and turn and come across. Then the hand drops in close to the body, brush knee. Raises, turns, come across. Falls down. Brush knee. Wing, snatch, falls. So, liquid. One more. Now, as this one falls down, bring that left hand out and do one where you bring both hands across, put the right hand behind your back. Now, washing the paw. The bear sweeps the leg. Turn the palm, the bear, brush knee. We're still doing shift, turn, sweep. Shift, turn, sweep. Shift, turn, sweep. Very close to the body, right? I'm very close. I'm right in front of the body. So being clear on what we're doing. Then we swirl the stream. Now the hand goes away, around a far side, and then comes back close to the body. Around, and then have the palm facing the left as it comes through. That's what makes it brush knee. The palm is facing that way. Then the hand is forced to rotate, and we come around. So we're getting the full pivoting. That's good. Full pivoting of these joints, which is again what they want. They are built to sort of gently pivot around each other and roll and spiral. Now let's snatch the fish. Up, comes across, falls down to the opposite hip, and we brush knee. Rises, shift, turn, fling it, and through. Good, last one. Now we do those with double. So one hand brushes knee, the other hand sweeps the leg. Then they turn and they switch jobs. Now it's brush knee, sweep leg. The bear washes paws in the stream. And remember, if I turn sideways, you can see we stay close to the body. Close to the body. Close to the body. Now here, the swirl of the stream. The left hand does a brush knee. The right hand goes around the far side of that circle, comes in close to do a brush knee as the left hand goes around the far side. And then far side. So the right hand is brushing knee as the left hand is swirling around that circle, comes in close, and then they change jobs. But we're still just shifting leg, turning belly button. Shifting leg, turning hips, turning waist. Shift and turn. Shift and turn. Now, left hand, raise it up so it's at chest height. Right hand is ready at the outside of the opposite hip. Shift and turn. The bear snatches the fish. Drop that hand by opposite hip. This hand rises. Shift and turn. Drop that hand by opposite hip. The other one comes up to chest height. Shift and turn. Shift and turn. Shift and turn. Shift and turn. And shift and turn. Last one. To each side. And both hands down. Sweep across. Sweep across, back to center. Now, put your weight more into your left leg. Turn your right foot out a little bit. Shift and empty this left foot to the point where you can lift the heel a bit and touch the toe out in front. This move right there. Then bring this foot back, heels touching or close to each other, both feet turned out. Change your weight so this leg takes your weight. This foot empty, step out and touch. When you step out and touch, a lot of times people go like this, right? Try to resist that. Stay in your back leg, touch very lightly. Bring the foot back, change your weight, touch. It's called the cat stance. For our purposes, it's a crane stance. Out, change, out, change. Change the weight. Out empty, bring it back empty. Change the weight. Out empty, bring it back empty. Change the weight. One more of each. Out, back, change, out, back. Now, find the middle, just stand with your feet turned out, and we'll do a hand position here. So, bottom hand turns out a little bit. Top hand comes up around the forehead, turns out like that. So, that position. And then they change, they cross. This one, sort of like you're blocking the sun from your eyes, up. And this one is turned slightly out, sort of like a finished brush knee, right? And then you turn that bottom hand to face up. So it's kind of like when you do this thingy here, but they pass each other. This palm turns up to block the sun. This hand point slightly out. Turn that palm. It's called white crane. So as we bring this left hand down, put your weight in your right leg and touch the toe out there as you arrive here. Bring that foot back, scoop this hand under, and as you change your weight, the hands change positions, and then right at the end, when you turn that palm up and send that palm a little out, you step the foot. Arrive, right? Step back, turn the right palm up, shift, they change places, one goes down, one goes up, and then you step the left foot out as the right palm turns up. So it's these movements that are asymmetrical and difficult for us to manage that really challenge the brain. Let's turn bring that foot back, scoop the other hand under, shift and change the weight, left hand rising, right hand lowering, and then arrive, toe out, hand up. Bring the foot back, scoop that hand under, shift and change the weight, and arrive. Bing. Turn the left hand under as you step back, shift and change the weight, and bing. Step back, change the weight. And the one addition to this, let's just try it before we're finished, is a slight rotation of the body to arrange yourself to that corner, to the corner, right? Then you step back to facing forward, the hands change, and then slightly arrange to the corner. So the navel turns a little bit that way. Back to heels touching, hands change. And then as you arrive, there's a little arrangement of the body towards the corner. One more each. Change the weight, hands changing, and arrive. Back, change, and back to middle, both hands down. Parallel your feet, and let's finish with that final Qigong movement, Sync Qi Wash Organs, which we've done before. Rock back a little, the hands sweep up. Rock forward, the hands do a big round gather. Rock back, the hands come to the mouth, down to the belly button. And then we do that little Tai Chi Squat. Tail gets out of the way, and we just sink through and let the arms dangle. Straighten up. Two more. Back, up and over, back, down to the belly, and through. Tail sneaks back, sink through. And one more. Back, up and over, back, down and through to the belly, and through. Shogong, or closing gesture. Out, up and over. Settle everything to the belly. Seal the practice. Center of palm, right on navel. Other hand over top. Couple of breaths. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed. Elbows soft. And then that closing bow. Grab a thumb, fold over top. Have a comfortable seat. Any thoughts or questions, feel free.